What up? This is your boy DJ EFN. You might know me as a drink champ, but first and foremost, I'm a proud father. I linked up with two of my other dad homies, Manny Digital and KGB, to start the Fatherhoods podcast. Each week, we bring you insider hip-hop stories, parenting, and advice and therapy. The saying is true, it takes a village, and we humorously serve as each other's trusted counsel in figuring out how not to screw up being a good dad.
The Fatherhood Podcast. Beats, rhymes, and diapers.
Yo, Fatherhoods fam, when you're out and about with your baby and they start wilding out, what do? Most dudes are fumbling through the traditional baby bag their lady prepped for them, trying to find that one thing that will calm the kid down. That doesn't have to be your life. Dig no more. The firstborn diaper backpack from Fly Dad has over 21 compartments to have everything right where you need it to be for you and your baby, and keeping you fly through the process. Get $20 off when you visit flydadgear.com/fatherhoods. Welcome to the Fatherhoods Podcast, everybody. I just heard some amazing news, and I wasn't really ready for it. So we just decided to cut the mics on and have a conversation. Kay, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Good. Let's introduce our esteemed guest here.
Yeah.
And get to the point.
and by the way, yes, our beloved DJ EFN won't be on this one today. He's got some things.
Getting drunk somewhere.
Yeah. But on the show, we got a guest. On social media, you might know him as Jay Amore. Heavy over there. I always see him with a plate of food in his hand when he's doing what he does. His government name, if you care to look him up, Social Security and all that, we're going to provide that for you on this episode. But his name is Jamal Morton. Like I said, you know him as Jay Amore. My brother, welcome to the Fatherhoods Podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Thanks.
So I just asked you in the green room just a question. I wasn't too sure how many kids you had. I know you have kids. And then for the audience, can you just tell us what you just told us? How many children do you have?
9.
And look, he's from the South, and I know sometimes accents get in the way, maybe, but like I thought it was an accent thing that I just didn't pick up. But yo, my man said 9. Nueve for the Spanish list. So let's start there, brother. How did 9 come to be? Because you don't look nothing but, I don't know, 26. So
I'm 31.
That's a lie, sir. You are not 31. But you got 9 kids.
Yeah.
All right, wait.
Yeah.
Let's do some math. How many baby moms are involved?
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes the numbers feel a little bit more realistic.
Yeah.
Because 9 kids with one woman, that is a death sentence for that woman. I don't know. These days, I don't know. I mean, back in the day, people used to pass away.
Back in the day, it was different. Yeah. No, back in the day, it was different. Yeah.
I know.
Yep.
Science is caught up. But all right, four mothers, one penis here. How did this come to be? Like, walk us through this a little bit. Like, you had 1, and then 8 showed up. Like, what went on? How did you make these decisions?
Well, okay, so it's like, I have like 7 biological, and my wife has 2, but those are my sons too.
I feel you. I don't even like to use the term stepdaughter, but
yeah,
I have a child from my wife that I claim is mine all day long. So I feel
Right. So when we first got married, I had 3 already, and she had her 2, and then that made 5, and then the rest of my kids were by my wife. So yeah.
So she's had 6 kids.
Yeah, she has 6,
and she can still walk.
Yeah.
That's actually, I think she's in some of your videos, right?
Yeah, she in someone.
Yo, she look amazing for 6 kids. That's wild. Oh man,
thank you. I'll tell her.
well, Manny, my mother-in-law was one of 16.
See, but all right.
Yeah.
But we talking about
Yeah, back in the day, right?
back in the day, right?
Yeah.
One and two, we're talking about the Hispanic folks. Because my mom is one of 9, and that was little. Like that was like,
Yeah.
oh, you just put 9 out? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
That's nothing. But nowadays you don't hear
Yeah.
people
No, you
typically
don't.
like 4 is a lot. You know what I mean? Like people are like, yo, you got 4, chill.
I mean,
You
forget about what it does to the body or any of that kind of stuff, but just
right.
the financial
Oh,
situation surrounding that is, that's something that I think a lot of people think about in terms of more
Yeah.
kids these days.
and
Yeah.
you stay eating, Jay. So I want to know how you feed in the whole clan.
Oh, they eating good. I'm gonna start doing videos, putting everybody in it, man. Everybody's starting to build their brands and stuff too. So
Oh, you trying to have like a whole like factory out the
yeah.
What's
a
the
more brand.
what's the age range from young?
Okay. So Aiden is 12. Tyler is 10. No, Tyler. Okay, wait. Aiden's 12. Bella's 10. Tyler's 9. Chase is 8. Haru is 8. Judah's 6. Um, Sophia's 4. Junior is 2. And Rose is 3 months. So we had her in April.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yo, the
So you
fact that
got some serious young energy around you. That's oh
like,
yeah.
yo, nobody's in high school yet.
No, no, no,
Like I was
no.
expecting at least maybe one college. You know what I mean? You
Nah,
don't even have somebody
I ain't ready for that.
and because we get a lot of shit as men, right? And you
Yeah.
remembered all the names and ages without hesitation. Clap it up for this man. That's dope. So y'all, all right. So you and your lady got together. Y'all brought in a family, right?
Yeah.
You got started together with existing children, and then you had, several others.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit because I think the difficulty in supporting a big household like that has to weigh on you, or at least it did at some point. Like, take us through a little bit of how that's been for you and your family.
Well, what I will say is like, aside from fatherhood being a beautiful thing, you know, parenting in general, you got to be prepared. No excuses. Um, in my past, like I was broke, I was poor, but I'm more grateful now, and I think my kids are too, because the ones that can remember, they got to see the change from where we was, living here, and now we're here, and um, now is beautiful, and I think I became much more, or not even more. I think I became successful when I changed my why. It's like it was for personal reasons at first. I want to do this because me, and then when I saw like the joy that it brings to my kids, and the smiles on their faces, and being able to get them whatever they want whenever they want it, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta leave this earth one day, and I want to leave them with something, not just bills, like not just a name, you know what I mean? Not just a lot of relatives. And it was like, all right, I got it. I'm doing it for them. And then I just took off, and more blessings start coming in. And so now, they get the chance to even reap the benefits of some of the things that I'm doing, like so I think it's dope. Like Spray Ground, shout out to Spray Ground. James gifted us like an entire set. I got the video of like for all my kids. So they got book bags going, Spray Ground going back to school. Like they were ecstatic.
That's dope.
Dope.
Yeah.
That transition you mentioned, like going from not having enough to I hope now having plenty. It
Yeah.
sounds like you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Um, you said some of your kids were able to witness that.
Yeah.
Are do they have you guys had a conversation around it? Because sometimes these things happen, and it's like in a moment you see something, you might move from one crib to another crib, right?
Hmm.
And that moment then passes, and they just become accustomed to whatever that new life is, and may not remember that transition. Do you find time to like help them relive a little bit of the old times so that they can more appreciate, because we're all victim to it. Like when we
Right.
graduate to a certain new step, like we take so much for granted and we forget the path that we had to take to get to where we're at.
So it's crazy because like when I didn't have, I would always remind them of how I didn't have when I was a kid. And then we started to get more, and I stopped it because, like you attract certain things, and I didn't want that to just be a part of their reality, talking about what we didn't have.
Mhm.
And it was a few months ago where my wife and I, like, because we have moments of gratitude. I mean, I've had to sleep in hotels. Had to sleep in my car. You know what I mean? So there are times where I just go outside and I might have a drink and it might be nighttime and I just sit back and stare and just be like, wow, and it don't even feel real. And so we were having a moment like this a few months ago. And when we came back inside, the kids were in there, hey mom, hey dad. And we're just like just talking, and I'm like, I think they wanted something to eat and we was about to DoorDash them something. Because we busy a lot, like, and then my wife just had the baby. So sometimes she, can cook, sometimes she can't. Like we was
Yeah.
about to DoorDash them something. And I was like, as I'm ordering it and stuff, I'm like, dang, y'all remember when y'all had to share a waffle, man? You know? And Aiden was like, yeah. And I was like, man, we used to sleep in hotels, man. And my wife was like, Jessica, she was like, yeah, like God has brought us like so far, you know what I mean? And um yeah, I don't know. I don't mean to get too deep, but yeah, like we had a moment like that, like a few months ago, and I think they're grateful. At first, I thought that they weren't, but I think they're grateful, and they're getting older now, so they can see, like some of their cousins don't live like how we live. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get to a point where all of my family, extended relatives, can be good, but right now, I got to take care of what's you know, in front of me, so they're able to see that everybody don't have it like that. So, they're grateful.
When you said that moment of gratitude that you experienced recently, I do the exact same thing every so often. I'll pour myself
For
a
real,
drink. I sit in the backyard and I just look around and I'm like, wow, bro.
man.
Like it's a feeling like you almost feel like crying. You're so happy. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those, like, it hits you real hard.
Sometimes
And
I do. I mean, if I could be
It's all
transparent, like,
good.
yeah, nothing
yeah,
wrong with it. I want to
yeah,
get there. I want to get to a point where I'm just like, yo, I feel okay, like crying. Like I still got
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I still got that machismo thing. I think messing me up a
yeah,
little bit, but I think that's. I mean, it's a full experience, right? Like you
yeah.
feel grateful, and then you let your expressions just take over. Like that's a full feeling. You want that.
Well, I also like what you said about the kind of cutting out the talk of what you didn't have and the
Yeah.
comparisons and focusing on lack and, because definitely believe in that. But even just the comparisons, like I try to catch myself if I'm comparing, my situation when I was my son's age to where he is now, so it just doesn't make it feel like I don't know. It's almost like a kid might start to be resentful of the shit they have because if you are annoying them with of like, hey, I didn't have this when you, it's like, oh,
Right, right,
like I'm
right.
not trying to make them feel bad for, the blessings that we have, right? Because that's not the
Yeah,
point of it all. So I try to catch myself with that as well.
yeah, man.
It's different, and I grew up in the Bronx, Jay, and there's a lot you learn when you grow up in an environment like that, right? And there's a lot you don't have as well because you're in an environment like that. And I take the benefits from growing up in that experience and try to translate it to where I'm at now and just take it with me through my walks in life. And I don't do this very much anymore, but there are times, or there were many times, where I felt resentful that my kids have such a better experience. right? And then I'm looking at myself in the mirror like, dumbass, that's exactly what you're supposed to want for your kid. Like a
Yeah, yeah,
better existence than you had, right? But where I was coming from was more like, man, I'm afraid for my kids because they may lack some street smarts that
Yeah, it's
I
the
have.
fine line of giving them two. Like we want to give them all they want, right? But we have to draw the fine line of what they say. We got to teach them how to fish, right?
right,
Right.
right.
And that's the key right there. Cause like, we have more than I had, and we give our kids as much as we can give, at all times. But there's certain moments where we do pull the strings back a little bit and be like, yo, you gotta, like, you want that? Like, for instance, I just saw a video of yours, Jay. You was eating some Chick-fil-A. And we just had Chick-fil-A the other day because my kids wanted it, right? They was like, yo, we
Yeah.
should go get Chick-fil-A. And it was like, we had some of their cousins over. So it was like almost 10 of us. And I was like, so who's paying for it? And
Right.
and they're looking at me like, what you mean? What kind of question is that? My son comes, he's like, yo, I got it. He pulls out some birthday money he got or whatever. And I'm like, and sometimes I let them pay, sometimes I don't. But in this moment, I was like, you know what? It's good for them to understand, like, yo, when you want something, sometimes you got to go get it yourself. And this isn't that
Yeah,
opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Not on some like, yo, I'm being cheap. No, it's just like, it's good, I think, for the kid to want what they want and go get it with the means that they have. And he kind of like he got to puffed his chest up like, yo, I got this, right? I'm like, all right, you gonna get it then. You can get it. And
Right.
then
It
a
was
lot of
one.
times I make them go pay for it, like go to the register and actually like, yo, make the transaction because they're too coddled. Like you got the DoorDash situation. Like they don't even got to see nobody if they don't want to anymore.
Right.
right.
It's true.
You know what I mean? So yeah, there's little things like that are, I think, really critical learning opportunities that we may miss because we have things a lot smoother, easier than we did back in the day.
Yeah,
I try to put in their head and not be resentful, but be more just um educational in my approach without like Kay said, like not really trying to like make them feel bad about it.
yeah, yeah,
So you do content. Is that your primary thing? Yeah.
yeah.
And I've been able to see a few of your videos. I'm not heavy on social media, so I wasn't too familiar with your work, but I did consume a bunch as leading up to this, conversation. And there was a video about um sorry. I love that you're always eating. I love you got to play the food and you talking your shit. It's great. But I don't know if she was actually your daughter because she seemed older, but it was something about her having a boyfriend or going to no, she was going out. The girl was going out, and you were outside. It looked like your crib, and she was waiting for somebody to get her or needed somebody to take her or whatever. And you were kind of schooling her on what to expect. Right? I know you're going to drink, so you were kind of walking her through it. Like I could see. I don't know what the comments said. I loved the approach. I appreciated it for what it was, and it was humorous in your approach, but
Yeah.
but not like you was laughing. You was more just kicking game. But the way you set it up was supposed to be funny. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, yo, somebody somewhere is gonna look at this video and be like, this guy's out of his fucking mind talking to this kid
Yeah.
like this, telling her to go
Yeah.
drink and this and that and the third. So
Yeah.
so in that particular context, right? Like what made you come up with that skit or that piece of content? Like there must have been some inspiration that kind of, if you can even remember, because I know you're creating content left and right.
So I mean, a lot of times is this stuff that we know that we know that we've been through, and we know what our kids are gonna go through, and we just look to find a different approach, because the typical, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, is gonna lead to them doing it anyway and just not telling you about it and you finding out about it. So it's like if you're gonna do it, then you know what? This is how you do it carefully. I hope that you choose not to, but if you do, let me school you on how to, do it the right way if you do. don't drive. Call me if you need me. I'm there.
Right.
And if not, your mom or your brothers are. You know what I mean? Like, and these are kids that are, I won't say non-existent, but not even old enough to go through this stuff. But it's like I was a teenager before. There are teenagers out there, and it's like the father that I didn't have. That's the father that I am today, and and that's who I am to the world. Like I get so many people commenting and DM me like, "Man, I wish you was my dad." And little do they know, I wish I was my dad. I wish my dad was like me. Like I always said like I'm not trying to have the typical my dad win this story, da, 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 but I mean we got the receipts. Like
Yeah.
so it's like I I wish my dad was like how I am. You know what I mean? Like and I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm the model father. Like it got to a certain point. Like it took a while for me to arrive at where I'm at now, and I think that's why I'm flourishing. Because the normal authoritarian style parenting wasn't working, and it's not my goal to be my kids' enemies and for them to hate me or for me to beat you into submission. It's like okay, if it's not working, then let's change up the format, the equation. Let's try to do it this way. And then when I started doing it that way, you know, their behaviors changed and my mind started opening up about different ways to handle certain things. Like, yeah, son, I don't want you to have a girlfriend, but it's a new day and age. So listen, son, if you do, at least be focused on your grades and then, talk to your girl, da 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 da, and just
Mhm.
be, I don't want them to hate me, man. Like,
And sorry, Kay had to drop, go pick up his child, but we can
oh,
still
okay.
keep rocking. You mentioned your dad, right? And it sounded like not really in the picture. And you just said something that I think may be a connection between that experience and where you're at now. Like, not you don't want your kids to hate you.
Yeah.
Did you at some point hate your father?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't around?
He wasn't around, and when he was there, he was abusive. You know what I mean? And then my mom, she had a husband, and he was my stepdad, and he was not the best figure.
Mm.
Like that dude was so toxic. That's why you got to be careful who you have around your kids. Cause he's not even my dad, but I picked up traits from him, and it's poured out into my household before. Not
Yeah.
now, but like yeah. So yeah,
That's wild. That's wild because I'm always really we talk to a lot of dads, right?
yeah,
From a lot of different environments. I'd say the majority are in similar situations to you, where the father's absent, or if they're around, or they see him every so often, it ain't the best relationship, right?
yeah,
And I'm always impressed and like thankful that the cycle gets broken in a lot of cases because it's nothing for you to repeat what experiences you've lived in that regard, and now your kids suffer the consequences from it. So having that awareness to be able to just like flip the script, even just realize it, because we walk around the world like with these habits that we don't even sometimes realize that we are living and
yeah.
acting. Was there a moment, because you said like things switched at some point, was there a moment where you were just like, yo, it's me, I'm screwing this up, I gotta change?
Yeah. Like I take, certain people, certain things with a grain of salt. So my stepdad was bad, but he wasn't all bad. So it was
Yeah.
certain things that I did learn, and it was to like do self inventory is what he called on yourself. And it would be times where I just sit back and just be like, dang, I could have did it different. I could have said that different. Like, man, I was tripping. Dang, we can't be so angry. Like, and it's like and my mama always tell me like you can catch more bees with honey than you can vinegar, and it really ain't about like what you say, is how you say it. So you can get the same message across without yelling. You know what I mean? Like, and so it got to that point where I was just like, nah, bro, I want to be different. I want to switch it. You know what I mean? Like, and I would make videos, and then like one person specifically, he commented, and he was there. like now I see the comments, but it's so many, so I don't really have time to like see them. But
Right.
that was back when I was blowing up, and I would just read every single comment and just like want everybody to love me and stuff. And so he was like, "It's cool and all, but how do you act like when the camera shut off?" And I was like, and at first I was like, "Man,
Yeah.
forget you, like
Who you is?
yeah." And so then I had to really sit. It just stayed in my head, like, how do you act when the cameras go off? Good off, good off. Then I just was like, dang, bro, how do I act? And so it made me model who exactly I was on camera, off camera, because I don't ever want it to be said that I'm a fraud, you know. I want to be this same person that I'm on camera, off camera, although it's a character, but my parenting style and the things that I do and say should match up, not just some social media glitz, you know.
Yeah.
And that happened, and what was it? I just was like, you know, dang, I'm gonna do it differently. Cause we was like I said, we was doing authoritarian style parenting. And we started saying like, okay, I ain't just like trying to whoop you because it made me feel good. Like
Right.
I'm thinking it's gonna change your behavior, you know. And after so many whoopings, it don't change. You're like, okay, then it begins to be for enjoyment because he ain't getting no better. So I'm like, look, we're gonna put a pause on the whoopings and do something different, you know, because I don't get no joy out of this. I'm thinking that it's gonna, you know, change you. But if it's not, then I was always talking myself that the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing, expecting a different result, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like it's insane to keep trying to whoop you and you're not changing. Like,
It's. I mean, it's. You say you're 31 years old. By the way, just
yeah.
in case you missed it in the beginning, Jay got 9 kids. Okay, just let that sink in a little bit, y'all. Um, you have a lot of wisdom for someone so young, and you may not feel young. I know when I was in my early 30s, I was like, damn, I hit 30. This shit's kind of crazy, but but you are, relatively speaking, and there's not a lot. I don't come across a lot of people in that age bracket that can even think like that, right? Let alone support, manage, be present for 9 children. Not even one a lot of times, but 9,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sure there's a lot that you as a couple work out so that that is manageable, because it's got to be really difficult to do. Plus the responsibilities you have, how you approach content creation and monetization and all that stuff. Does it ever get overwhelming for you to balance and juggle all that stuff, and how do you prioritize?
Uh whew, yes, it definitely gets overwhelming, especially like, you know, when you've already had a 2-year-old and then you got to go back through the terrible twos
Oh,
again. Oh, it gets overwhelming. Like, but you know, honestly, we just like my wife and I. That's why like everybody don't have it, but that's why like vacations and stuff are important to give you a chance to like, you know, sit back and enjoy your partner again. You know, like because when you become a parent, like y'all don't really have as much time for, you know, each other in a relationship that is like is before you had kids, because you know the focus is on them 24/7, you know what I mean, like so it get overwhelming, you know, but even before we like had sitters and stuff and were able to do certain stuff, you know, like we just I don't know, we just like best friends with each other. So, you know, like we find solace in each other. And when the kids go to sleep, you know, like
how do you how do y'all 2 questions. How do y'all move around as a family, even just locally? Like, what y'all got? Like an aircraft that you drive down the street? Like, how do you got a Sprinter van tricked out? Like, how do you do it?
now
Well,
all of them don't live with me.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, so only 6 live with me. And before the baby, was born, it was 5. So we SUV, but
Okay.
if we all together, yeah, we gonna need a Sprinter. Gonna
Okay.
need a big one.
Yo, cause I had family over, like we had family visiting, and they were 3, we're 5. We have a 6-passenger SUV and a Mini Cooper. So it was like, damn, we're gonna have to 2-car it everywhere we go because
Yeah,
it's the only way. I ain't not getting no Sprinter van for a weekend,
yeah,
right?
right.
So, and I felt like that was like weighing on me. I'm like, damn, this is so annoying. Like, and it wasn't really that big a deal, but I was just like, it just felt so inefficient to me. And I'm a person that likes efficiency.
Yeah.
So right away when you said when y'all was running, I'm just picturing y'all in a big ass customized vehicle, just cruising through the streets. But what do you ever take vacations together, all of y'all? And then if so, how do
uh,
you fly?
well, I mean, like we like to drive a lot, you know what I mean? But if we like do fly, it'll be like like the kids on the windows
Yeah.
and I'm like right in the aisle, like and my wife on the other side. And we have to like have the little leashes, like,
Oh,
it's a real Home Alone experience. You gotta do check-ins, you gotta do head counts and stuff. Cause man, you can't leave no kids behind.
that's
I don't know
true.
how she did that anyway.
It sounds a lot like my setup. Like when we fly,
For real.
that's how my wife and I do. We take the aisle seats and then the kids spread in. And
Yeah.
sometimes I set it up where I try to make the one person that decided to buy one of the seats in our row uncomfortable, so they could go be out and we just get a clear row. But that's me being foul. Um, and so your success on the content creation tip feels like it took off relatively recently. I'd say within the last like 3-4 years, it feels like things kind of shot up. Was that more or less when you actually started, or is that just simply when you found the right formula to start, getting those?
when I I would say like when I found the right formula, because when I first started, like I've been doing skits for years,
Yeah,
like but nobody watched it. And I wasn't doing parenting content. I was just like the average Joe trying to go viral.
yeah.
And then, I figured out that okay, what to do when you go viral. I'm not gonna give away the sauce right now, but
Don't worry, you
I
can do
figured
that later.
out yeah, like I figured out what to do, and then I was like, "Oh, this what y'all want? Oh, bet, come on!" And we started going up. So yeah, yeah, like yeah,
That's good. I know you're gonna save it for the master class, the course package or whatever you probably about to develop. I feel you.
yeah.
Go get it. Go get it. And then when like as you set yourself on that formula and you figured out, okay, you tested it, you're like, yeah, this is what's up. What was your cadence around like creating content? Were you doing it every day, weekly? Like, how were you thinking about? Because at some point it crossed in. You were probably working another job while you were doing this, and then all of a sudden, this took it all over. So, like, how did you set yourself up for that?
So prior to this, like I tried to work, but it's like as you can see, I'm moving now. I think I got like ADHD. Like I can't do it. And so we had Airbnbs and stuff like that or whatever. And so, but we had one that was kind of just like our primary source of income. It wasn't really like making a lot of money, but it was making like enough. But I always wanted more. And and so basically I think like it had got shut down or something like that. And then I tried to work, you know what I mean? And it just didn't go good. Like it didn't go good. And I ended up getting fired and stuff like that. And I mean I appreciate them for giving me the opportunity, but it didn't work for me. Like I'm better at being a boss. And so yeah, so I was sitting down and I'm scrolling on social media and I'm like, I want to find my place like in the social media where like I can do this, I can do it. And so I'm sitting one day and my wife, she just like brings me a plate and I'm like, hey babe, film me. And she was like, why you eating? And I was like, yes. And she was like, okay. I'm like, babe, trust me. Like, trust me. Okay, whatever. So she did the video and it blew up. And so the next thing you know, like, she just started like bringing plates. I'm just sitting chilling. Come on, babe, you got a fan. Yeah, I done hooked up the souffle. Here you go. We gotta eat. Like just filming and stuff. And man, we would put before she had the baby, we was pushing out 5, 10 skits a day, man. Like
Wow.
So I push out like roughly 500 to 700 skits a month. So that's new content. I make new skits every day.
And
Yeah.
does that now I'm trying to get into like the weeds a little bit. But is it all for one platform? You do it multi-platform? Like how do you
So we got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm trying to get in my Snapchat and my Twitter bag because that's a bag over there too. But
yeah.
yep,
And
we
then
do
you
it just like that.
and you relying on platform revenue as far as like they give you like revenue share on ads that show up, or is it strictly like sponsorships or both?
It's both. It's both. So with the platforms, I get that the ad revenue, and then with my agent that I'm with now, shout out to Mackenzie, like she got me working. Yeah, we get brand deals, partner deals, and then I got my wife, her platform built up, so she got an agent now, so she getting deals, and she making videos, which is like doubling the pay, like because first it was all me.
Right.
Now she bringing in 5, 10, 15, 20,000 a month just from her videos. So yeah.
Yo, Jay, good for y'all, bro. And
Thank
you said you
man.
building a factory, so your wife got one. Now the kids about to jump off.
Yeah.
Yo, Jay, don't forget the little people, dog. Remember me.
Hey, I got you, dog. I got you.
Nah, I'm bullshit. That's really cool, man. What as you guys are developing this and your kids are witnesses to all of this, right? They're seeing how the what do they say? Like the sausage is being made, essentially, right? In the background.
Yeah.
What kind of feedback are you getting from them? Like, are they because creating content, there is a recipe for it. A lot of people don't know it. I'm still kind of oblivious, but once you figure it out, it may look odd to the person that doesn't really understand it, right? And your kids may now be pretty well versed in kind of what that is, but I'm sure at some point they were just like, yo, what are y'all doing? Or, oh, that's mad cool. I see my dad's a celebrity, right? Like, what's that kind of dynamic with them?
So at first it was like we're recording and they like, mom, dad, da da da. And we didn't get ass pissed, but and the more and more they start seeing it, like, oh snap, we doing this, living that. Wait, dad, you got this many followers? It's like when we're recording, it's like, nope, they don't even bother us because they know, like, you know what I mean. And so, the kids at their school, they always like, I know your dad and da 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 da. And so, they come home and they think it's cool and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then like I DoorDash a whole lot. So half of the people who come to the house, they're like, man, I love your videos. And the kids, they get to witness it. And so, or like when we out at Six Flags or wherever, like they like, at first it was just like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, but now it's more so, oh snap, like my dad's really that guy. You know what I mean? Like, and so yeah, it feels good.
It's funny because it's like, I'm a big NBA fan. So sometimes like the NBA players' kids look at their dad like he a nobody. But they love another player from another team, right? So it's kind of that feel to a point.
Yeah.
Now they coming around.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
ill.
So
So
yeah.
what's next for you? I mean, I know you said you building an empire, but like how do you envision that looking over the next few years, and like what should we in the audience here be looking out for from you?
Well, we're looking into doing like a reality show, a big reality show, because my family has a lot of dynamics, a lot of personalities, and it's like I love skits, but I don't want to be doing it 4 and 5 years from now. It's time to expand and I'm gonna get into acting, get into movies and stuff like that. But as far as for the fam, like y'all gonna be seeing us real soon, like on the day to day. So
That's what's up. I can't wait.
yeah,
Jay, man, I really appreciate you showing up here and talking to us. I mean, it's a beautiful story. I learned a bunch, and that's one of the things that I love about our podcast. Doesn't matter. Like I'm relative. I'm much older than you. I got you by at least almost a decade and a half. But
okay.
but that doesn't
Oh, you look
stop me.
young, man.
Thank you. It's the what's it called, the lotion that my wife wants to always put around my face. Um, but it's refreshing, and I'm always open to learning from everybody, right? Like just because you're younger, like back in the day, like age really mattered, right? Like who you listen to and all. Like I'm a sponge, bro. Like you said a lot of things today that I'm just like helps me kind of be accountable for my own actions and
Mm,
helps me think about things a little bit differently, which I'm super appreciative of. And I know our audience gleans some gems as well. Um,
thanks, man.
I wish you much success. I mean, I know you got 9 now, so when the 10th one comes around, holler at us.
The
So
who? Can you say to me? Like, I'm done. But you talking about the Tim? The who? Woo, good one, Manny. That's a good
yo,
one.
that was the best reaction ever. No, but I
Ain't
wish
no
you
more.
so much success, bro. If there's anything that we can help with on our end, like pushing anything, we'd love to support, man. Especially somebody like you, a devoted father, who's
Okay.
making his way and doing a hell of a job at it, and empowering his family to open up opportunities for themselves, that's like everybody's dream, right? Be able to
Yeah.
really set them kids up, but not just give them stuff, like set them up to earn their own stuff. Like
Right.
that's really,
Right.
really important. So best of luck, bro, and thank you so much.
Man, thanks, man. I appreciate you having me, fam.
All right, bro.
All right, man.
Yo, be a father. If not, why bother, son? A boy can make 'em, but a man can raise one. Be a father to your child. Be a father to your child.